What's up, my friends? Welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and I would like to say Merry Christmas, but there's something we need to talk about, man. Like, I make these AMD videos, and some of you guys seem a little bit unhappy about them. I don't understand how like me making multiple AMD videos is bad for you. I don't see how that affects you or why that would affect you. I mean, if you're content and happy with your Nvidia products, why would you come here and tell me to stop making these videos? Because let me be real with you for a second. When I make these AMD videos, I get anywhere from 70 to 85% new viewers to the channel. And I'm so happy with AMD, I could literally make an AMD video every single day. Every single day I could sit here and do just like, wow, beaming with joy, I'm happy with AMD. I can do those every single day. So if it's growing the channel and it's bringing new people in, why would I stop doing that? You tell me, like, give me one good reason why I would stop doing that. There are plenty. There are multiple channels out there that sing the praises of Nvidia every single day. Every single day, they're out there making brand new Nvidia videos, getting everybody hyped up, helping them justify their purchases, making them feel better about their purchases. Why is it bad for me to do that for the AMD guys? Why is it bad for me to sit here and tell you how happy I am with my AMD 7900 XT, or how incredible I feel the 7800 XT is for performance, price to value? These cards are incredible. And the only thing that anybody can come back with is what? Heat, power consumption? Man, let's put it this way. If you're buying anything over like if you're trying to go for high refresh rate 1440p gaming or 4K, yeah, dude, like you can expect some power draw. You can definitely expect some power draw. And that's fine. Like last generation, the 30 series had high power draw. The AMD cards didn't. This generation, they did the chiplet design with the AMD cards, and now they draw more power. You can get in there and you can play around with things. You can undervolt. You can do, your overclocking, all of that stuff to get more performance out of your AMD cards. But I run mine stock, and I'm absolutely blown away with them. I am absolutely blown away with the AMD experience. I love it. I think it's incredible. And I don't think the AMD gets enough credit for the products that they've made. I absolutely wish I would have bought a 6800 XT last generation instead of that 3080. Knowing what I know and seeing what I see with the AMD cards, man, I'm very happy with these. I'm very happy with these. So yes, I'm going to continue to make positive AMD videos, whether that hurts your Nvidia feelings or not. Like, I don't care. I have an Nvidia 4070. I would much rather have the AMD cards in my PC. When I get to a point where I need to make some Nvidia content, I'll put it in there. Like, I have nothing against Nvidia. I don't. Like, I'm not disappointed with Nvidia no more. I feel like I'm actually grateful to Nvidia. Thank you, Nvidia. That's the name of this video. Thank you, Nvidia, for pushing me into the arms of AMD. Like, I will love Nvidia for the rest of my life for that. They opened my eyes to their strategic behavior that creates this circle of the hamster wheel. Let's call it the hamster wheel, the Nvidia hamster wheel. I mean, they're gonna what? Come out with some Super Series cards and make you feel bad about the cards you already bought? I am truly grateful to Nvidia for putting the 4070 price so ridiculously high that I went for AMD. Like, I am so happy that they did that I was just like, no, man, I'm going to give AMD a try, because this is ridiculous, man. They went from a 3080 being like $700 to dang near doubling the price of that card. And you still got people out there trying to defend Nvidia, talking about ray tracing this and DLSS this and that. And let's be perfectly clear, man. Let's be perfectly clear. With my AMD card, with my 7900 XT, I don't have to use FSR at 1440p. Like, I don't. I don't have to use that. I can put all my games on my 1440p monitor and I can run them without problems. They run just fine without having to use any upscalers at all. I can get well over 60 frames a second, and I can play those games just fine at native resolution. Like I don't have any problem. Now with the 4070, that there I do actually end up using DLSS a lot more frequently than I thought I would have to at 1440p to get, you know, a decently high frame rate. And when I'm talking about the 1440p, I am talking about the 7900 XT. So don't get that confused with the 7800 XT. I don't necessarily need FSR with the 7800 XT, but there are some games that definitely, even at 1440p, can potentially have me turning that on. You know, like Cyberpunk and some of them other games. There are a few games that I absolutely, you know, get to a point, but not as many as with the Nvidia card. Like I feel like the Nvidia card, I'm gonna eventually do like some real testing and put together like a real video for this and just kind of show you guys the native performance that I get with some of the games, you know, with my build. Obviously, I have a 5900X, you know, 32 gigs of RAM, still running an AM4 platform. So my results are going to vary from other people being able to show you this stuff. But I do want to do that eventually when I actually get some time to actually sit down, throw the 4070 back in there and like do some of this stuff and then do the same thing for the 7800 XT and just kind of do like this because that's the whole point. We're doing this like long-term thing. But, you know, over the weekends and stuff that I've had like the holidays and stuff like that, I've just wanted to be able to have my 7900 XT in there so that I could, you know, get my higher frame rates so that I could play these games, so I could check some of this stuff out and have some fun, man. Like it's my holidays. I want to be able to spend them, you know, either with the family or playing some video games. But let's get back to this, you know, thanking Nvidia for making the decision for me to go AMD. I think Nvidia's in an interesting position because if you got somebody like me, like obviously I'm a graphics whore, like I am, like there's no question about that. I like my high quality visuals. I like being able to turn everything to ultra, play all that, you know, get like a higher frame rate, stuff like that. I'm still kind of, you know, in that graphics thing. Like I gotta have my graphics and stuff like that. Like I'm still there, and I'm not gonna try to deny that at all. But you know, with Nvidia making the price of those cards as high as they did, man, it made it very easy. I'm not broke. I'm just not stupid. I'm not that dumb. Like I don't mind buying like cheaper products, and I've heard people tell me that I'm just nickel and diming myself away doing that. Whatever. I make my purchasing decisions, you know, kind of pretty much well in advance, and I've always kind of just had like this threshold for how much I want to invest in a GPU. Like $1,000 is my absolute max. I don't want to go above that, but anywhere in between for that, like I do want to be able to get like a solid product for the price that I'm going to pay for that. And I absolutely believe a 7900 XT, a 7800 XT are very good value for what they offer. And the 4070, like the 4070, it is a decent card. It does very well. If you remember back when I did my review, you know, for the 4070, I pretty much gave it a tie between the 7800 XT. Just because, you know, where you're losing, you know, performance and stuff on the Nvidia card and you have it on the 7800 XT, it's the other way around when you get over to like the ray tracing and stuff. So I did work in the Nvidia features into that. If I would have just went full rasterized, the 7800 XT would have blown the 4070 out of the water completely. But no, I worked in those features to make it fair so that people could be like, okay, yeah, man, like if you want ray tracing, Nvidia is your option, like for real, like it is. If that's important to you, yes, buy Nvidia. But I do recommend getting the highest quality card you can get, because if anything less is not giving you the ray tracing experience I feel like you deserve. If you are buying Nvidia for ray tracing, don't waste your money on anything but a 4090. That is where you need to be. You don't need any of the other cards. If ray tracing is important to you, you want a 4090 because that's the only card that can actually do it and do it good enough. So don't waste your money on like a 4080 or any of that stuff. The reason why I say no 4080 is because it's pointless. If you're already at $1,200, just spend the extra few $100s and get a 4090. There's no reason to buy a 4080. If ray tracing is important to you, don't even worry about any of the other cards in the Nvidia stack. Just get the best one for ray tracing because that's what you want, so you better buy it so that you have a little bit of longevity with that card too. If you buy anything less, you will be upgrading the very next generation, and with the prices that these cards are right now, you're pretty much spending 4090 money on 2 cards within 4 years when you could just buy the 1 card and have it last and get the best quality that you can get. So if you're going to come here and tell me that ray tracing is important to you, only if you have a 4090. Like seriously, there's no other card in the stack that is worth buying for ray tracing other than a 4090. So for everybody else that just wants to play video games and doesn't care about ray tracing, AMD is where it is at. You are getting the experience is more well-rounded on the AMD platform than it ever is going to be on an Nvidia GPU unless you buy a 4090. I mean, a 4080 might suffice, whatever, but like I said, man, if ray tracing and everything, if that is your thing, why would you waste your time on a 4080? Get the best. You want ray tracing, pay for it. That's how much it costs. That is what ray tracing is. Anything else is just a significantly reduced experience compared to what you get on a 4090. It's barely freaking playable on with any of these other cards. So yes, do yourself a favor and buy the card that is perfect for your ray tracing. If that's your thing. But other than that, like the AMD stack, the 7800 XT, 7900 XT, 7900 XTX, 7700 XT probably would do a pretty decent job at 1440p. But once you start to see just how consistent the experience is across the AMD cards, without having to use like FSR or anything like that, once you see how good that experience is and just how stable it's been for me across multiple different games, multiple different game engines, I'm like, wow, this is very, very good. I don't understand how people could be like, I don't understand how people can continue to misrepresent the AMD brand when, dude, what AMD brings to the table and provides, in their GPUs for you as a consumer, as a gamer, how could you ever, I don't get that. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I have an Nvidia GPU. I have an AMD GPU. I don't get it, man. Like, I honestly don't get it. You guys come here and tell me that I'm a shill for AMD and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it's simply because I don't get it. Like, I don't understand the overall outward hate for AMD. I don't understand the overall outward hate for Xbox. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. You get way more content on Xbox, a way more diverse experience on Xbox that, like, I don't get it. And it doesn't cost you as much. And the first party games on Xbox are just as fun and just as good looking as they are over on the PlayStation. I don't get the overall, I don't get like this whole, oh my gosh, dude, I gotta have an Nvidia GPU because it's the best. Like, I don't have that mindset. Like, I've never had that mindset. I've never had like the superiority complex of buying like a name brand like the Apple phones or anything like that. Like, I see my wife's Apple phone every single day and I'm like, that's dumb. That's dumb to me. Why would anybody pay that much for an Apple product that can barely do half the stuff an Android phone can do? Like, I love Android. I think they're great. I think they have way more features, and it's a lot better to use. It's more open source. It's got like a, and that's the same with AMD. I like the open source. I like the cool stuff that we've been getting with AMD. You know, like the AMD's fluid motion frames, like all the tools that they're bringing to AMD is like, wow, man. And the fact that they even support the 30 series cards and all of Nvidia's cards with frame generation and FSR, like why would you talk down about a brand that if you're a 30 series person, man, they actually are making these features available to you. Why talk down about them? That just doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me. Now, I do also want to address, you know, the people that keep coming to the comment section, the guys that say they have AMD and they're struggling with their cards and this isn't working for them or they've got this problem. I haven't seen these problems with my AMD GPUs. So I'm not trying to discredit what you're saying or your experience with AMD. Like, I'm not trying to do that because I get it. When I first bought the 7900 XT and I had mismatched RAM, I had that issue with my card and then I got it fixed. I was able to fix that. Like, I get that like some people might struggle with their build or something. Maybe something's just not going right for them. There's something in there that's causing a problem. But I mean, to sit and just blame the GPU when it could be a Windows thing, when it could be when it could be a hardware thing that's just not compatible with something else. There's so many different possible combinations of building a PC that, gosh, man, some things just might not work right. Maybe it's your motherboard. Like your motherboard might have a problem with it. There's other things that could potentially cause your problem other than your AMD GPU. You know, like, so I take my experience kind of as like the baseline of like, okay, maybe this is how the AMD experience is supposed to be, because I'm not suffering like black screens. I'm not suffering driver timeouts all the time. I'm not, my games don't crash and you know what I mean? Like very rarely has a game crashed. I mean, the only time I've ever experienced like games crashing is like, because I buy all my games the day they come out, is like within that first day or two. Like with, what was it? Ark Survival Ascended. That one there is the only game that I've had like massive problems with, aside from Forza Motorsport. Like Forza Motorsport, before that first patch, that game was having problems. If I got into a race and I raced that, then that would kick me out of the game if after the race would finish. But that was a known problem. They fixed that. So yeah, there's things out there that obviously that they're problems, but they get fixed. But for the most part, like when I'm playing any other game that I have, like I don't have any problems. I don't have like black screens when I turn on my OLED. My TV is working just fine. I don't got screen flicker like I did with the Nvidia cards or anything like that. It's and I'm pretty sure that that's gotten patched out. But to this day, I still can't get my 4070 to work perfectly with my TV. So it is what it is. Like when I have the 4070 in there, I don't necessarily need it anyways. If I'm going to play my racing games, I'll have my 7900 XT in there and I'll play them with that because it works. So when I hear like all of the stuff about, man, quit making AMD videos or quit like shilling for AMD and all of that stuff, it makes me giggle, man. I'm like, really, guys? Really? Like, what are you doing here in the comments section? You are propping up Nvidia, trying to discount my experience with AMD to prop up your favorite brand. So yes, I mean, everybody's welcome to this channel, and you know, I read your guys' comments, but it's kind of, it doesn't make any sense. You're coming here propping up your brand, telling me to quit propping up my favorite GPU, and it doesn't make sense, especially when there's so many other channels out there that prop up Nvidia. Come on, man. Are you guys really afraid of one AMD channel? Are you afraid of one AMD channel that actually is positive about AMD? That actually, you know, has a good experience with AMD? That doesn't make any sense to me. That doesn't make any sense to me at all, man. You guys are perfectly okay with all these other Nvidia channels out there propping up Nvidia every single day, but you're going to come here and tell me that I can't make AMD content because you're afraid that people are going to buy an AMD card? Well, newsflash, a lot of people, because I like Nvidia, or because I like AMD, I've been buying AMD. And guess what? They're happy with it. They're absolutely ecstatic. They're like, yeah, man, that's incredible. I get those comments all the time. All the time. People are like, dude, you were right, man. AMD is awesome. And it is. That's the thing. It is good. It is, because your expectations are so low for AMD, when you actually see what these AMD cards can do, yeah, dude, it's kind of mind blowing. It really is. You get in there and you're like, whoa, this is not what I was expecting. I didn't expect it to be this good. And then it'll make you think. You'll be like, okay, well, the comparable NVIDIA GPU, you know, you're like, whoa, wait a minute, dude, this doesn't make any sense at all. Like, this is way better than their similarly priced GPUs. The AMD side is better, all the way up to the 7900 XTX that you can get for $1,000 or less. That is good. Like, if AMD, you know, I don't care if AMD's top of the line card ever beats Nvidia's top of the line card. Like, I don't care about that. The fact of the matter is that you can get a very good top of the line experience out of AMD with the 7900 XTX, and then you get a consistent experience all the way down. So I'm sorry that this video is going on a little bit long, but I need to talk to you guys about like the difference between a 7800 XT versus a 7900 XT. So at 1440p, the experience that you get, you know, like say on the 7800 XT, you get like 65 frames a second. On the 7900 XT, you know, you might be at like 79 or like 81 frames a second. That right there is not a big enough gap 1440p wise to justify getting a 7900 XT over a 7800 XT. But if you are into 4K gaming, this is where the 7900 XT pulls away from the 7800 XT. Now the 7800 XT does a pretty decent job at 4K gaming, especially on like older games. Some of these newer games you can still do, you know, 4K high settings, ultra settings in some cases, but you are going to utilize, you know, FSR2, all of that stuff. I've actually been testing the 7900 XT on native 4K, and the results, in my opinion, have been like very, like, I'm like kind of blown away, even with the 4K experience on the 7900 XT. So if you're looking for a 1440p card, I do recommend the 7800 XT. I think that's going to give you the best experience that you can get at 1440p without having to worry about 4K or anything like that. But if you want something that can transcend, you know, 1440p and give you pretty decent entry level 4K, yeah, dude, the 7900 XT is definitely worth that. But if you want the absolute best that AMD has to offer, which is the 7900 XTX, I do think that I haven't used one, so I can't tell you if the uptick from 7900 XT to XTX would be worth the extra $100 price increase. But I mean, you get 4 more gigs of VRAM, you get an extra an extra chiplet. It's there. You get more freaking CUs, all of that stuff. So yeah, dude, I mean, obviously if you're prepping for the future and you want something, you know, to keep going that extra mile when, you know, whatever. Yeah, dude. I mean, that to me, the 7900 XTX is more of like a splurge thing, you know, if you just absolutely have to have the best. But to this day, right now, I absolutely think this whole generation, the 7800 XT is probably your best bet, like the best bang for buck performance ratio with the way prices are going right now. I think this is your card, man. The 7800 XT absolutely rocks. The power consumption thing, man, like I get it. I get it. There's places that really, you know, are struggling with like power, you know, power stuff like that. If that's your case, man, like this 4070 runs on one 8-pin. My 4070 runs on one 8-pin. Very, very, very good, you know, performance for what it actually draws power wise. So yeah, like I get that argument. Like it does make sense that if you need that lower power consumption, yeah, I mean, if you can deal with, you know, less performance and rasterize, you know, backed up by DLSS, cool. If you love DLSS, whatever, it'll get you there. And if you got to have that ray tracing and all of that stuff, yeah, maybe Nvidia makes perfect sense for you. But if you are somebody that like can afford the extra $20 a year that it costs to run a 7800 XT, I think the 7800 XT is awesome, man. It doesn't draw as much power as like you would think. I mean, it's not like super expensive to run a 7800 XT, but let's like think about it though. If you're going for power, like why would it even matter? You know what I mean? Like I get that like California is trying to enact laws to make it so you can't have like a really high quality PCs and stuff like that. Move to Idaho. Move to Idaho so you can still use your GPU. I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you guys. But yeah, like I get it. I get it. You don't want me to cover AMD because it makes Nvidia look bad because AMD is actually really good. Like I get it. It makes perfect sense to me. There's plenty of Nvidia channels, bro. They have a lot more freaking followers, have a lot more subscribers than I do. They have a lot. They're a lot bigger than I am. They have a lot more reach. So maybe not freak out on me too much until I actually get to a point where people might start taking me seriously. You know what? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just glad that everybody that comes to the channel that actually buys an AMD GPU and saves themselves some money and is able to enjoy that experience and be able to see that for what it really is, that's awesome, man. I'm glad I could help you. I am definitely glad that I could help you. And yes, I do stand 100% by my recommendations for AMD. Like I love AMD. I love the software. I love the Adrenaline software. It's incredible. I love the preview beta for AMD's Fluid Motion frames. I love the performance that I get. I love the visual quality that I get. I love, being able to adjust the colors the way they look on here. Far better than the Nvidia, man. Like I like that. I appreciate that. It makes me happy that I have a GPU that fulfills every single one of my GPU needs. And to be completely honest with you guys, and then this is no joke, man, if I wouldn't have bought these AMD GPUs, I would still be 100% like console guy. The AMD GPUs have helped me transcend that line to where it's like, man, this is probably my last console generation. Like this is going forward. I don't think I need to buy like the PS6 or the next Xbox or any of that. Like I don't think I need to do that. Like I think I'll be okay with an AMD build going forward. Like I'm very comfortable with my experience on PC now. So you could thank AMD for that because Nvidia wasn't even touching it. Like DLSS is too sharp and crispy. I didn't like it. I preferred playing those games on my Xbox. So yeah, at the end of the day, man, thank AMD for making me for bringing me over to the PC Master Race because I'm happy now. Like I get everything and I'm happy. So, all right, my friends, if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next one.